This Sunday. Every Sunday. Side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Chris Switzer and Ray Carino calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Here! Relevant news, biased opinions, and outright bullshit regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gas, but mechanical trickery never before revealed over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrill to the explosive tension as Chris and Ray cuss each other down the track and barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands for the devil. All that and much more this Sunday at high noon on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and live feed, Chris Switzer and Ray Carino. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free. Every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Long Island Expressway to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the sign saying no parking on the expressway and no express service on the parkway. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes Pit Pass. Sunday!
Oh, Maybelline, why can't you be true? Oh, Maybelline, why can't you be true? You don't start back doing the things you used to do.
And the things you used to do might have been listening to a car show on the radio, but that went away because there's none left anymore. But you found one. You found Motormouth Radio, Long Island's only automotive talk show with your hosts, Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. How are you this week, my friend Chris?
Oh, yes, hanging out on a completely inappropriate and uncalled for automotive talk show. Right,
Yes, sir. Yeah, we refuse to give up.
Yes, yes, and it shows.
Yes, it does.
It does. They're back? Oh, my gosh.
We will not be denied. So,
How long have we been doing this mess now? You and I have been doing this mess a while.
you and I have been doing it for 21 years.
Not consecutively, but yes.
Yeah, I came in 2004.
Four. Right. 21 years. Holy
You came in-
smokes.
You came in 2002.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
And I came in 2004, and yes, that's been the lion's share of the run.
That's what cracks me up, is that the children, the toddlers, the infants that were around when I started the program in 2001 have already graduated
Yeah, right? Isn't that a hoot?
and have moved on to successful, productive lives
Yeah, there you go. And we're still doing this.
while we're here.
And
Still.
I will tell you this, you can be a part of it if you want. You can call us at 516-572-7440. Of course, follow us on social media. We're Motormouth Radio on X and on Facebook. On Instagram, it's real_Motormouth Radio. And of course, on YouTube, it's Motormouth Radio and Motormouth Video, which kind of went stale the last 2 weeks. We really didn't have
What?
the YouTube channels kind of went a little stale on us.
I can tell you why. You know
Tell-
why?
No, why? Tell me.
Because we haven't had the instructive swift kick in the butt
Okay.
to tell people, listen,
Yeah.
go to the YouTube channel, comment on what you see, good or bad. Come on, get with the program, for crying out loud. See?
Yeah, that's true. What I would really like to see is, because people do watch, and I see the numbers. People do watch. And I mean, listen, we're not gangbusters. We're not by any means the big guys, but I would like to see a little more comment, or people like stuff all the time because it's easy. You scroll through, like. I do it too with people I follow, but I do try to go out of my way sometimes and make a little comment about what the person posted, because I think it just it's nice to have that little bit of a personal touch. And I wish more people would do that with our stuff. Although I shouldn't say that because I'm afraid of what I might actually read.
Well, it's either that or we can have a contest and give away your wooden leg.
Yeah, we could try that, but I kind of need it, I kind of need it for things. So I don't know. There we go. So anyway,
But yeah,
what happened?
but you could text us too. You know that. It's you got a thumb, you got a finger. By all means, take it out of an orifice and just text us at 203-670-4127. We're here for you. Or in other words, I'm here for you.
Yes.
But
So
yes.
I want to say, since we're talking about history of the show, histrionics,
Yes.
today happens to fall on today, marks a passing of someone who was influential on this show. And many people, unfortunately don't even remember the man. They didn't get to know him. But Frank Dominianni from High Speed Automotive,
Oh yeah.
he's gone 14 years today. Yeah,
Wow.
and it's I
Oh
think of him
dear.
all the time because Frank comes up in conversation with people who were involved in the automotive scene back in the day because he was a racer. He was
Yeah.
he owned and managed the speed shop, so he was right on the cusp of anything high performance, and how to shave off a point and make more speed, and he was a great guy. Frank was a really, really nice guy. Marty Shore, of course, from Motion Performance and Cars Magazine, who calls the show, who gets in with us occasionally, always has some great stories about Frank and the bluefish he used to cook at his Christmas dinners when you invite the guys. So, yeah, so I just want to mention that today. We do miss Frank. I'm in touch with his son, Joe.
Hmm.
So I'll we always keep in touch with stuff like that, and just
My, yeah, I tip my hat to Frank Dominiani because I remember you telling me a story about him out in the yard behind the speed shop,
my
and he
favorite.
would be cutting. What was he cutting? Cutting a piece of cheese with a razor blade or
No, no, no,
something.
no, 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 no. Let's get it right.
Get it
I
right.
I would stop in to see Frank. Now the shop wasn't open for business anymore, but he would go every day,
Right.
and just hang out and do stuff. So I walk up one day. I think it was in August. It was in the summer. It was hot, and as I walked to the front door, I saw down the driveway in the back because he had back access, a little table,
Right.
little picnic table, round table, and it had a Cinzano umbrella.
Of course it did.
And there was Frank sitting there. So of course, he waves me back. So I walk down the driveway and he says, sit down, sit down. I'm like, great. Yeah. It was like the Godfather, I swear. Like, hey, Frank, let's go. And he was slicing provolone with a buck knife.
Right. That
Cutting
was
up
it.
some provolone, and I think he had probably either some supersad or maybe some pepperoni. I don't know.
Best tasting provolone you're gonna find.
I tell you, I just was looking for the goblet of wine, and because he says to me, "Hey, so we have some." Like, it's very good. He goes, would you like something to drink? I'm like, yeah, that'd be nice. And I thought for sure he's going to bring out the bottle of Galliano or something.
Yeah, a nice Chianti.
He went inside. He brought me a glass of ice cold lemonade.
Ah!
I was like, oh, boy. Shattered the myth right there. I was like, but it was so appropriate for the day because it was a nice hot August day, and the lemonade was,
It was perfect, I'm sure.
So yeah, it was, but literally like just that whole front part of that story, I felt like I was like in another place. I felt like if I wasn't looking at Merrick Road, I would have thought I was in Palermo.
Right.
Literally.
Yes.
And that's kind of what Frank did. He would take you to another place when you talk to him because he was full of stories, and the history was just phenomenal. And
Right.
great man, lovely.
That
man.
is true. I had a small bit of that experience when I went into high speed with you that one time.
Mhm.
But yes, it was definitely earth moving.
Yeah.
From it was truly a joy to be in his company and to interview him back in 2005, I think it was.
Yeah, it was a long time. Yeah, it was.
It
a long
was.
time ago. Yeah,
It was. But I have on the other side of my garage, I have a rose bush, a collection of rose bushes. I didn't plant them. I was awarded them when we moved in. So it's like now I am the caretaker of these rose bushes. And I'm always thinking a nice table with a couple of chairs and a Cinzano umbrella would be perfect right here.
Yes. Connecticut might revolt. I don't know. The ground might open and swallow it up and spit it out. But because it's really not, what you would expect.
Every once in a while, I'll play the Italian house party when I go out there and deadhead the rose bushes. Exactly.
Very good.
So it's not so bad.
So 516-572-7440. You can get in on this. I yesterday kind of had a weird week. Worked on the Mustang a little bit again. Got it to run and start, which was that was the mission at hand. Mission accomplished. Now it runs and starts, and now it's going to be someone else. It's in someone else's hands to.
Right, Frankenstein lives.
Correct.
Well, do you want to go in briefly on the state of this vehicle and what you had to do to it that you just told me on the phone and made me sweat?
And I'll make it brief. Really, it's talking points. I think, what happened is the owner had put a brand new car needed every wire, needed it all done. So we put in a painless wiring harness, and you'll see a picture on our feeds.
I hope so.
I'll
I'm
put
looking forward to that one.
I will put a picture up of what I saw when I opened the hood. It looked like everything was just thrown on top of the engine. So, and that was the wrong way to do it. I told the owner this. I said, what should have been done is you go to one thing at a time and start at the source. So, okay, the harness is coming from in the dash. So it obviously connects to the ignition switch, runs over to the fuse box, and then it runs out from there. So, it's installed and verified. So, okay, obviously you need power, so you have to hook up to the battery at some point. But subsystems, do a subsystem at a time. Don't try to do everything. So, and I said to him, pick one. Pick parking lights, pick headlights, pick starting system. I don't care what you pick, just pick something. And in this case, what I would have done is I would have gotten the starting system going first. Make sure that the car would start with the key, because then once the key is active to the starter, it's going to be active to other things as well. Other circuits, accessory will work, all of that stuff. And then you do a subsystem at a time, do the next little system, test it, make sure everything works. Now go to the next subsystem and test it. You have to have a very systematic approach. And this guy was a little more, I guess,
aggressive,
eager. Yeah, where he was kind of trying to get it all done at once. And it doesn't work that way, because the best of us, you get confused. There's a lot of wires. And then, now you have wires going here and there. And then you find out, oh, this one should have gone under. How many times did it happen? I mean, I do it all the time.
Oh my gosh, yes. It makes me crazy. And you know what it does? What ends up happening is I find myself in a very small increment, but I find myself re-engineering, which is something that I have a problem with, because something we certainly do not agree on. I don't want to re-engineer a vehicle. There are people that are paid a large amounts of money to do that. So every once in a while, if I'm redoing something, yes, I have to sit there and go, okay, this has to run this way, especially when we're talking about wires and wire looms. This has to run this way. It has to run away from everything. It has to stay away from heat. It has to stay away from getting pinched. It has to stay away from all those things. And this stuff takes time, and it takes thought to do this. And I mean, I could spend all day running 8 ignition wires to a distributor cap, literally, because that's what I do. I get it all to flow. So it's away from the exhaust manifold. So it's away from the front suspension. So it's away from the carburetor in any way, shape, or form. So,
and I'll give you this. If you're working on a car that's original, they did it for you.
Right.
Because they'll, many manufacturers, probably most of them, have looms that may be attached to the valve cover for the wires to go on, or maybe they come off a valve, or it's not like my Pontiac has one. There's a loom that bolts to the back of the head that comes around so the wires can come around the head. So all you got to do is follow what they did for you. And it's when you're dealing with like a project car or a hot rod where you have none of that and you have to decide where to put them. That's what
the engineer.
Right. You have to have a little more thought. So that's it. Just a system approach is what's needed. You have to go in and be kind of diligent about it and really just step back. I think you need to step back and look and think more than you have to act, is what it is.
No, good point.
So,
you're absolutely right. And I can't tell you how many times just with an ignition wire, you run it under the fuel line and go, no, wait a minute, run it above the fuel line and go, no, wait, it's got to go back under the fuel line. It's that sort of thing.
I still do that. My car has been together now, God, 6, 7 years. It's been longer than I thought it was. But I'll still sit there and look under the hood and just look at things and say, I don't like the way these wires, this component, and I'll get in there and just kind of move it around a little bit and say, okay, that's a little better, there's nothing wrong with tweaking it. That's kind of what we do. But I will say this, he did use a painless wiring harnesses, which are absolutely phenomenal.
Why is that?
And I'll tell you why, because you can take any wire in that harness and of course, you need your glasses, maybe a magnifying glass, and it'll be printed on the insulation of the wire from ignition switch to solenoid I or solenoid S. It gives you a to from. Now in electronics, we call that a to from diagram.
Great.
I learned how to do this when I was an electronics student many years ago. You would draw the components, just a block. It could be a square, a rectangle, a circle, whatever. And they represented, maybe a power source, a motor, a block, whatever. And when you brought the wires out, you would have a to from, and you make a separate list. It'd be from, component A, pin 1, from that to component 3, pin 4. It's a to from diagram. So you can read that and see where everything comes from and goes to. That's
awesome.
To from. So that's one way of doing it. Now the schematic is actually a to from diagram, but with all the wires and all the lands individual. You have to know how to read that. That's a lot more complicated, and people who don't like wiring don't like the schematics because they are very busy. But what he also got from Painless was, I think, a 16 by 20 laminated color schematic. I mean, I find myself using I like to use those middle picks. That's it's like it's a tool where it's a pick on one side is straight and then maybe a 90-degree pick on the other side.
Yeah,
I'll use one of those, and that's where I trace the lands with on a schematic. Well, this one you could use a crayon. It's that big. You could use a crayon. You could see it. You don't need to use a pin or anything.
And now with this wiring harness, at the end of that wire, is there a corresponding clip that goes, or do you have to provide that?
It depends. I think it depends on the harness. The one he got, I didn't see pre-made ends. And so I think they give you the option of they give you a little extra so you could run it different ways. Now, I will say this. I bought a painless harness for I bought a headlight relay harness for my Pontiac. Now, I had made one when I built the car. I did it from scratch.
Wow.
And then I just started, and I had no problem with it. It worked fine. Everything worked fine. But once I started seeing the painless stuff, I said, wow. I started investigating, and when he was looking at it, I went online myself and looked and said, wow, Painless has an A-body harness pre-made, and they use quality stuff. And I think it was under $100. It was maybe $70. I said, you know what? Okay. I ordered it. I got it in. And it came all loomed. Literally, when I laid it over the cowling where the radiator is in the car, each side, the harnesses fell right with two plugs each on to where each headlight would be. Everything laid out right where it was going to be, finally placed. I just had to do the final running of it. And the only thing that I didn't get to benefit from was it had a plug on the one end that powers it up. So if you had the painless harness that came from the fuse box out, it would literally plug into that and be just a secondary feed. I didn't have the painless harness. So what I had to do is use my stock harness and take the painless one and get another half of a plug, attach the wires, and plug it in. So, but beautiful. Absolutely. I can't say anything. I can't say anything bad about the company. Everything and that harness is in the car and it works beautiful as well. So.
And that came with the plugs for
everything.
Installing in the back of the headlights and the cornering lights and all that good stuff.
Well, when I made mine, I had to make the plugs for the headlights.
Yeah.
And I learned something. The spade connector, the female spade connector that goes on the headlight tang, is a very specific size. It's not, it looks like if you have a 1/4-inch spade, it looks like it'd be the right size, but you'll find out when you push it on, it doesn't go all the way on. It has to be a little bit wider, just a little bit. So I researched it and I found out it was like, I forget the exact dimension now. I have it written down, but there are specific headlight spade terminals that you have to buy. If you want to do
Why make life any more difficult?
I don't know. You know what? Someone decided that in one of the manufacturing, GM used that for 100 years. So they probably still use it. So that was the only thing I found that was, I had to get the correct terminals with the painless harness. Of course, it was already in there. You plug it in, one and done. Got it. So work smarter, not harder is what I say,
That's if you need it.
Yeah. Well, it's good stuff. All good stuff. So give us, you can call and talk about this if you have a wiring issue at 516-572-7440 or text us at.
You can text us at 203-670-4127. That's the phone number to text us as well. And you will show up right next to my studio right here.
Yeah.
So I had the dubious honor of doing an oil change on a vehicle that I was unfamiliar with. And I'm trying to think of the last time you actually did that. Changed oil on a car that you just never changed the oil on before.
Well,
so the
I'll
trials and tribulations that went along with it. But we have a call, don't we?
I will tell you about that after this. Yes, we'll go to the phones and say, hi, caller, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, Chris and Ray, how are you guys doing? It's Cliff.
What's happening, Cliff?
What's up, Cliff?
This is the Northern State Parkway, and I love to talk about the electronics. I missed the first couple of minutes of the show. I don't know, Ray, did you talk about, I know you went to that model car show yesterday.
Yes, went to the model car show in Freeport. That was going to be another topic I was going to talk about. Yes, very good. The talent is staggering when you see how these guys build cars and how they paint them. It is ridiculous. Yes. And of
Wow,
course,
I love the pictures you sent. Yeah, they were amazing.
yeah, of course, got to see our good friends Mike and Bobby there. It was good to see both of those guys.
Yes, Toe Tab Mafia Mike and
Right. Right.
Bobby looked good. Thank God.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, very good. So,
Oh, great. No, just calling in, just tell you the people out here in the rain, we're listening to you.
all right, Cliff, thanks a lot, and we will we'll talk soon. We got to get together. We've missed a couple of meetings here, so
Yes, sir.
we'll get it together. Don't worry.
All right, Chris. Chris, stay cool out there in that, was it the Chestnut State?
Nutmeg.
Nutmeg.
Yeah.
Nutmeg. I know it was, nut. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
All right, Cliff. Don't work too hard.
Thanks, Cliff.
See you later, guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Be safe.
All right. That was good. Yes, the model show. I might as well just continue on that. I'll put some
Jump
pictures
on
up. It was the Liars Club, Long Island Auto Restorers Society. My friend Jeff is in there, and yeah, like I said, I did get to close a circle last year. I saw a diorama of a guy did a diorama of cars from Hampton Dragway, West Hampton Dragway, and
Right.
Chassis John's car was there in a model.
That was amazing.
And you know what? Let me pick up this call. We tried getting through before, and let's go back to the phones and say hi, caller. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Gentlemen, happy Sunday.
What's up, Bob?
Robert.
What a beautiful, beautiful autumn weekend it was until about now. It's a
Oh,
little
yesterday
overcast.
was gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were down in Maryland, and the foliage and
Oh,
also cars you saw on the way up and down the.
were you hanging out with Macro Man Brian down there in Maryland?
I thought for some reason he was in. I thought he was in Brooksville.
No,
But
he's in Maryland. He's in. I don't know if I want to put out the.
You don't want to narrow it down, do you?
He's but he's in Maryland down there, and
yeah, we're on the Eastern Shore, not too far from Easton.
yeah, he's not on the coast. He's inland a bit. Yeah. But,
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's good.
You had shared all these wiring diagrams and all these wiring stories,
Uh-huh.
and you and Chris have been friends forever, right?
Only since we started doing the show. I didn't know Chris prior to this.
Yeah, we didn't grow up together, but we did in a way.
Oh, you would think, Ray, with all your expertise, you could rewire Crazy Chris.
Oh! I'm trying to put that together. Like, where does he go? Well, my expertise.
Is that possible?
No, it's not. It's absolutely improbable, impossible, impractical, immovable, everythingable. I thought though.
You got to call on all your hooks to get Chris on board.
Believe me, I've tried. Tried.
All right, guys, have a great week.
But I'll tell you something.
Go ahead.
To my credit, I'm as immovable a lot of times as he is. So we make a good pair.
Yeah.
Well,
We just agree to disagree.
You said walking down the driveway, and I love doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I introduce myself to everybody, and my daughter goes out of her mind.
Oh yeah, I know.
You're Dad. You leave them. I said, Shelby, listen, I'm talking to these people, and it's all good.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, but you say hello to everybody.
I think, Bob, that's a signature of our generation because I do it too, and my kids have been appalled. Even my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm gonna go talk to the guy." You don't know him. I'm like, "I'm gonna know him after I talk to him." I said, "You know what?" And that's going to determine whether I want to talk to him again or not. Simple.
Yeah, and sometimes, that just eye-to-eye acknowledgement. Real briefly, I went to the doctor's office the other day, and I was watching this couple come out of the Grand Marquis. And the guy was hunched over, like you'd think he would fall.
Wow.
And I helped him into the office. He was with his wife. She was 90. He was 94.
Wow.
You know this. They were married. What do you say? They were married 70 years?
70 years.
No, I
God
think it was,
bless.
yeah. I got his entire life story in 20 minutes in the doctor's office.
Wow.
And he drove a truck and was a stevedore and a longshoreman
Wow.
for 50 years.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
That's great.
50 years working the shoreline and driving trucks.
Wow.
Wow. That's cool.
No,
That's
that was
nuts.
a great story.
Good for him.
Great story.
Nice. Very good.
And
Excellent.
I said goodbye to him. Said, Anthony, I'll say goodbye to you. The girls inside told me just, that I mentioned your name. And they're like, oh, yeah, Anthony's a great guy. I said goodbye to him on the way out. He goes, it's Angelo.
Oh, we got it wrong. Okay. There we go. Good.
Have a great week, guys.
All right, Bob. Thanks.
Thanks, Bob. Always a pleasure.
Very good. So
Why would he want to rewire me? I'm perfect.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have to.
I don't like to re-engineer things.
Yeah, I know you don't.
I like cars that run when you get in and hit the key and fire them up.
True.
I don't like making all kinds of crazy projects out of simple little things. No.
Oh, so I know. So I now I did remember where I was before
okay, good.
I just want to finish that thought. So it ends up that our friend Mike at the show and Jeff, they both know it came up. That diorama, and I think Jeff asked me, "Hey, did you meet the guy? He's a friend of mine. His name is John." I'm like, "No." He pointed him out, and he did a couple other cars that were there. So I walked up to him and said, "Hey, John." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "My name's Ray." I said, "I'm friends with these two guys over here." Okay.
Right.
I said, "Listen, you did a diorama last year," and he goes, "Yeah, we're talking about it." He goes, "Yeah, I want to do these cars that I knew." I said, "Well, listen, the thing for me was." You blew me away because you had a car from, Chassis John. And he knew Chassis John is Tin Man John. Well, because John was known because he did a lot of aluminum, inside, he did a lot of tub work in the cars for the.
Right.
So that's all tin work. It's all tin knocking. And a lot of guys, I've heard this before, a lot of guys referred to John as the Tin Man, not as Chassis. So it was either Tin Man or Chassis John was the common ones.
Okay.
So I said, yeah. And so I gave him a quick rundown. I said, good friends with John, did this, play in traffic with him for years. And, and then he passed away and blah, blah, blah. I said, but I just want to let you know that when I saw the display last year, and I showed him the pictures. Yeah, that's the display. I said, I took the pictures and I sent them to John's wife. And I told her, look what I saw at a model show. And she was flabbergasted.
Really?
And I said, well, obviously this guy did cars that impressed him, because there was a select number of cars there. I said, and John's was one of them. And she said to me, wow, I guess he wasn't kidding when he said there's a lot of people that know him. And I said, so I told John, I said, just want to let you know, because I think this is important to do. I really do. I wanted him to know that act of building that car, which he did really for his own purposes, for his own reasons,
right,
now affected the guy's widow, who now is left behind in a positive way. And
sure.
I think that's very important to do. And I think he thinks it's important too. I'm hoping today, maybe when he reflects on it, it'll really hit him again. Like, wow, that made a difference. That actually made a difference in somebody's day to make them feel good about something that I did. So it all comes back to what we talk about on the show a lot of times with other things. Pay it forward. You know what?
Oh, yeah.
We do stuff for ourselves all the time. We do stuff for other people. Do some good deeds, pay it forward. You'll be remembered. It's a nice way to preserve a legacy. So
I totally agree. You're absolutely right. It makes you feel good. It just makes you feel good inside when you take that and run with it. Like it took that modeler to be influenced by Chassis John's car and who he was to build that model. To take that time to build that model accurately, where someone like you, a casual observer, can go, oh, that's Chassis John's Firebird.
Yeah, right.
And then for you to take that with an image and bring it to Chassis John's widow and say, look what's going on. This is how John was remembered in a model form. To me, that's awesome. And then sometimes it does take many different rungs on that ladder.
Sure. So I'll tell you what rung we're on now. We're at the bottom of the hour rung where we have to do our bottom of the hour stuff. Then we're going to come back and talk about this oil change. So I will say, obviously, the weather is taking a turn. The picture, Cliff sent me a picture of rain on the parkway. Your WHPC weather forecast, as I look out the weather window, is
What do you see?
It's powered by Pantano's Gourmet with locations in Hewlett and Uniondale. I wish I saw a bagel out there because I would grab one and eat it. I would, but I don't, so I can't. Today they said cloudy with occasional rain showers. I guess that's what's happening now. When I came in, it was not raining. Apparently, it is now. High near 60. Yesterday was a stellar day. Yesterday was like
oh gosh, yes.
What a day. Tonight, foggy with periods of rain late, low 53. Tomorrow, they're talking about rain showers in the morning. Temperature's going to fall into the 40s. We're going to get cold, and it's going to be a nasty middle of the week. Hopefully, there's. I don't think I have anything to do that's going to have to be outside. So that's good because I have to mention if you are a proud member, as you listen to the show, of the Nassau Community College alumni, like I am, like Rob is. You can find out more about the Nassau Community College Alumni Association by visiting ncc.edu/alumni. So with that, do we have Bob Berkowitz's favorite part of the show, the honor group of the hour?
Well, I guess we do.
Okay.
It's also your favorite part of the show, if I remember that thing we do at the bottom of the hour.
Tomorrow it is, because today I won't hear a word.
You won't hear a word of it today. The Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour this week, those individuals that had to tangle with an innocent-looking radiator hose. Here's to the brave car guys, the fearless few who risked knuckle-skin sanity in their last clean shirt, battling the rubber wonder under the hood right under their nose. To those who have confidently grabbed a cool hose only to discover it running a temperature just slightly south of molten lava. To the mechanics who had to perform Olympic-level contortions trying to get a hose clamp off while pressed against the fender like a stressed-out yoga manager. You've confidently stated it's just a simple hose right before bursting coolant sprays them like they've won a very toxic championship. So if you had a run-in with a radiator hose recently, you are part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour, and we can only hope your clamps always cooperate and may your coolant always miss your face. And remember, Ray, take care of your hose, because then your hose will take care of you.
Good point. Good point. Very good. Excellent. That's words to live by, I think.
Yes.
So, all right. Keep it where you got it. We'll be back with more Motormouth Radio on WHPC 90.3 right after this.
We'll be back with answers to your car questions. Give us a call at 516-572-7440. Oh, I should have said the Motormouth thing.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside, who remind you that New York state law says you always have the right to choose which shop will fix your car. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services, 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with a rental car arrangement if needed. All repairs include the CarStar lifetime nationwide warranty, ensuring that the experts at Celebrity Chase Collision are always on your side.
Y sí, hablamos español.
More information is available at 516-593-0920 or online at celebritychasecollision.com.
Okay, Mark Warman here from Graveyard Cars, hanging out with my buddies at, what's the name of it again?
Motormouth Radio.
Hey, Mark Warman here from Graveyard Cars, hanging out with my friends at Motormouth Radio. Sunday morning, I don't know what this fat bald guy's laughing about. You'll forget stuff soon enough too, my friend. Be sure to listen. When are you guys on? 10 a.m.?
Sundays at noon.
Noon on Sundays.
Excellent. This was
no, you got the promo for the best one was the first one. That's why I was because you said, what was the name of this again? That's the promo.
What better presentation could you do than that?
Hey you, get over here. Every Sunday, 12 to 1, you are going to tune in to hear the Motormouths, my friends Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. 90.3 FM, WHPC. You might learn something.
Yeah, you might learn something. You might, a little grunge, a little metal, a little speed metal, who knows. I think we're going to learn something right now because Chris has a story on Motormouth Radio that I think is going to entice us all about Some kind of oil change, all right? What do you got there, Chris? Tell us about
this. Let's put it this way: this has been a frustrating week all around, but this was one of them because I pulled the Camry into the garage, and I've never changed oil in it. And
oh, okay.
So I don't know anything about the oil, and of course, I'm sure it was not changed in the last couple of years.
Okay.
But I do know that when you start the car up and you listen to it with the old oil in it, it really had that typewriter sort of sound. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just dump it, get rid of it. So went to Walmart. Yes, because we have Walmart up here. We went to Walmart and bought some oil that was recommended for the vehicles, a 5W20. Got an oil filter and changed it up. But the funny thing was, I'm going after the oil pan nut that I've not touched previously. So I don't know how solid it is, how tight it is to the oil pan. So of course I get on it with I have a standard box wrench that's got a nice length to it, so I'm able to get some leverage. And I kind of pride myself on not jacking the car up. I'm able to get under there without jacking it up.
that nut shouldn't be that tight, by the way.
It really shouldn't, but you never know.
I have a story about that too from yesterday, and everybody over tightens it, and that's how you ruin oil pans.
Right. But so I got on it and literally leaned everything I could with my arms extended because you're under the vehicle, and I was able to break it free. And I'm like, okay, good. Got that done. And of course the oil came out like black coffee. So I'm like, all right, but now I have the dubious honor of trying to take the oil filter off. Now,
was it a spin-on or a canister style?
It was a spin-on.
Okay.
So now I'm thinking to myself, well, I could just, on my cars, I could reach up and turn it by hand.
Correct.
I've gotten it to that point where I can snug it up to the point where it's not leaking, yet you can still get it off without a tool.
Right.
Well, here I am. I go grab onto this thing. Nothing.
Now, let me ask you, was it a bottom mount or was it a side
bottom mount? It's a small bottom mount.
Okay. Yeah, it's a tiny small case.
Now, I have a couple of those oil filter removing tools that look like a cup.
Yes,
with a 3/8 drive hole behind it. These things are useless.
The thin ones are. Yeah, you got to get a thicker one.
They're useless. So I do have the one, it was a blister pack item, if I remember correctly. It has 2 jaws that are spring-loaded.
Yes, there's one that has 3 jaws, too.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. This one has 2. And what I like about this one is it accepts smaller oil filters.
And it is adjustable, hence those springs that you can make. Yes. It'll fit a range of filter sizes.
And it bites in, which is kind of cool.
Yes.
And in this case, it was very cool because now I have it situated onto the bottom of the filter, and I'm thinking this is gonna stink.
I've crushed a filter with one of those.
Oh yeah, and I almost did this time with this one as well. I started to twist it off, and you can feel the jaws clamping onto this tin metal oil filter.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, you are just seconds away from disaster at this point. Like whoever put this filter on did it with like an impact gun. So I'm like literally leaning on it. And you kind of know, you get into that mode where you know when you're just shy of too much.
You said it, you hit it. You're seconds away from that thing either breaking loose or failing. And you know it's coming. You just don't know which way it's going. I just want to interject for a minute. I just watched this week, I think it was the Torque Test channel on YouTube, did a test on various oil filter removal tools. Mm-hmm. And what they did is they bought a case of filters in different sizes. So they used the common sizes, and they welded like a nut into like where the filter would thread onto the engine. They welded a nut there because that went onto their test rig.
Oh,
then they could measure foot-pounds. Then they put the tool on, like the cup wrench on, and they tried to loosen. Actually, now the filter isn't coming off; it's welded, it's solid. They just wanted to see what point it would fail, and they did the cup wrenches, they did the rubber strap wrenches, they did chain wrenches. No, they did them all. They did the 2 and the 3 jaw. So I would recommend finding that video because people can see how the various tools work.
And those strap wrenches are awful because there's no room in there as it is.
Well,
to get a strap wrench on there.
Actually, they came out pretty good in the test. And I have a couple of them. I've used them in the past, but you do need to have the space to use them. That's the caveat, right?
I have them, and they've been sitting in my tool bench collecting dust because that was the first thing I was thinking of. Let me get a strap wrench on there. Now, of course, the strap wrench has to go on around the collar of the oil filter, and you have to turn it like you would a socket wrench. But you need that room to swing that handle because the handle has to turn. You have to move that handle in order for the strap to grip onto the oil filter.
They actually grabbed them at the end of the filter where the cup wrench would go, because that's typically, and really all you need to do is break it loose. And then you can do it but in this test, they were looking to see how far it would go before failure. So
it failed.
It was a different test. No, the strap wrenches did very well, actually, in the test, believe it or not. So
they don't work in this operation because there's no room.
That's why when people say, what do you buy? Why do you keep buying so many damn tools? Because one tool doesn't do the job. Sometimes you need an assortment of tools. Right. So that's why. So
this clamp was able to perform the task of removing the oil filter, but from the bottom where it was more advantageous to get the job done. So I was able to crinkle the oil filter, but I was able, I heard it think, and then I was able to spin it off. So I've really come to realize that what we do because we work on our own vehicles, we make it easier for us to go back to that job if we need to, because we clean the threads on the bolts. We do make sure everything fits correctly. We do make sure that you take care of the next job during this job.
Better than that, I've always said, I've always ruminated about this. I'm like, how come I'm the next guy? I'm the next guy after the gorilla put the filter on, with 9,000 pounds of torque, and tightened the bolt 9,000. So I always say, the next guy after me is the lucky guy because he's going to get it done right. And a lot of times I smile because sometimes I'll take something apart and like, hey, this was easy. Wow, the last guy did it. Oh, I was the last guy. That's why. So you're absolutely right. Yesterday we had Rick's Mustang up on the lift. He wanted to take care of a couple things that we needed to lift for. And one of them was his oil pan drain bolt, 6-cylinder Mustang, and it was just dripping a little drop. Sometimes it's car in a garage and it's a nuisance. So he bought there was a copper washer under the bolt. He bought the rubber style. So the plan was, let's just take the bolt out, hold a finger on the right?
You're not going to wait until his next oil change to do this? You got to do this right now?
No. So I said, okay, listen, we can try that. You put
disaster! I smell disaster in the wind.
So you'll see where this was going right from the start. I put the socket. Well, first of all, I couldn't really find the socket that fit the head of that of the brake of the brake the bolt. Right. But you know what? Let's take a phone call and we'll see if we can interrupt. Well, let's go to the phone and say, hi, caller. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Ray.
What's up, John?
Hey, John.
Well, the precipitation for the time being, but it's coming.
Yes, it is.
That's what's up. I was laughing the whole oil filter thing. I had a buddy of mine that owned the shop, and I was a self-service guy. I always did my own oil changes, spark plugs, and for some reason I took it to a shop and had something repaired. And I go, you know what? It's due for an oil change. Well, you got it on the lift. Change it. So I go, next oil change is due, and you knew the mileage. It wasn't that far down the road, from driving back and forth to the college from where I am. And I go to do the oil change. I can't get the freaking filter off for the life of me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't own an oil filter wrench.
Oh, boy.
So I drive to my buddy's shop with my other car, and I grab the mechanic that did the oil change, and I go, where's your oil filter? He goes, why? I go, because you McGilla Gorilla my oil filter on.
Hey, Conan, come over here. Take it off.
Right.
I didn't even own an oil filter wrench, and I never had a problem getting my filters off when I did them.
Yeah. Well, you're only supposed to tighten them when they hit, and you give it like a quarter of a turn. And that's it. That's all you got to do.
Snug them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You know, I texted Chris. I'm sure he hasn't gotten to it yet because it gets barraged with him. Why don't they just weld a nut to the oil filter can?
Some filters used to have a nut on the bottom. Yes.
I remember those. Yeah.
Yes. So I'll tell you this.
Why isn't that standard?
I don't know. Probably because of the cost. So tell me what's wrong with this scenario. I couldn't find a socket to fit this oil pan bolt. It should have been like an 11/16, but that didn't fit. So I went to metric. It should be 17. 17 didn't fit. And I'm trying all my different Snap-on and Craftsman sockets. No, I finally found an 18-millimeter socket that fit. And
it's a big bolt.
Well, it's an oil pan bolt. You know, that wasn't the problem. But I loosen it with the ratchet, and I expect it to loosen, and then I'm going to take it out by hand. No, every single turn had to be with the ratchet. It was that snug. And what it was a replacement oil filter bolt that had the 4 slices on it to expand.
Oh, yeah.
So that was part of the job right there. But we did put that rubber ring on it, put it back up, and it looks to have solved the problem. So I don't like those.
I know those bolts. That's how they mount engines on tractors. Why, I don't know. But there's no threads when you buy a brand new engine. Those things tap them, their own way in, and good luck getting them back out.
Yeah.
Right.
And Fords, I know since I started working on cars, Fords have had oil pan problems. And I even showed, Mike Jr. at the shop, one of the tools I had off the KD board. It's this, it's a black rubber plug, looks like a suppository. It looks just like a suppository. And there's a green tool that goes into it. And you turn the green tool, which makes the suppository a little smaller. You stick it up into the oil pan bolt hole, turn the tool a quarter, turn the other way, and pull the tool out. And now that suppository stays in. It now becomes a rubber plug for the oil pan without threads. And I have a couple at home. In fact, I'll put a picture up this week when I put the stuff up. I'll do it today. So,
yeah, I remember those because people used to get nuts back in the day putting the plugs in, and like you said, there was a tool that elongated it, and
Yeah. I'll put a picture up later because I have them at home. I have them in the garage. I've had them for 100 years, and not every Ford, many of the old Fords I've worked on always had problems with the oil pan bolts. I don't know what it was. I don't know why, but it was just a thing that you knew. Chevys do this, Fords did that. So, yeah.
I hear you.
All right, John. Well, thanks for that. We're gonna
thanks, John.
Wrap this up.
Yeah, keep the top up on the way home today.
Yes, sir. You got it. Thank you. All right. So,
take care, John.
Okay. All right.
By the way, Glenn just texted us at 203-670-4127. Sent a picture. He says he still likes his strap wrenches.
See, they do work.
Sent the picture.
Do work. No, good. Good for you, Glenn. Good for you, Glenn.
Yeah.
So you got the filter off that. So I guess the change went. The thing was with the there's a lot of heat up there, and you have a rubber sealing ring on the oil filter, and it really does bond very, very well. So that's why you don't need, Kenny Wessel on Wrenching with Kenny, every once in a while he'll go off on a rant on this about how tight people make fasteners, and oil pan bolts, oil filters are number 1 and number 2 on every mechanic's list of. My daughter had bought, my daughter's RAV4. When the first oil change I did to it, it's got a cartridge filter that's mounted in the engine from the bottom, and the cap that threads up into the engine has a drain hole in it, but it has like 4 little bosses molded into it. And the cap wrench that you buy has the matching grooves. So you put it on and it really hits on those grooves. It's not just like the cap wrench like you were describing, Chris. This one really keys in. Mm-hmm. Well, I put that on. And you put a 3/8 drive ratchet in it. I couldn't budge it. I put my longer 3/8 drive. I put my 16-inch 3/8 drive ratchet in. No, that didn't work. I put a breaker bar in there. I couldn't get it off.
Wow.
It's a plastic cap going into an aluminum engine. We're not even talking about dissimilar metals here.
Holy smokes.
I had to use a 3/8 to 1/2-inch adapter, and I put my 1/2-inch drive impact gun on it. I figured one click of the button should
unzap.
No.
Oh my gosh.
And now the cap was damaged. So I found out the year prior they were using an aluminum cap. I ended up buying that from Toyota. But whoever did that filter change last, put it on way too tight.
Wow.
And this was the result, So I think it's probably one of the number one complaints. I don't know how lube techs, guys who are new to the business, like a new guy coming in, usually starts as a lube tech,
Sure.
do oil and filters. I don't know how those guys, it's what we're describing here is you need a lot of expertise and information to sort those problems out correctly. How's a new guy doing that the first time? How are they doing that? I don't know. I mean, are they relying on the other guys in the shop, or are they just propagating all the mistakes, and that's why we have more mistakes?
I think that's probably the case. Yeah, I really do. Because it's to me, it's rampant. I mean, I don't understand it. Why do you take the time to put a tool on an oil filter when all you have to do is just snug it with your hand? That's it. You're done. You're done.
I'm going to talk to Brian.
Involved.
I'm going to talk to Brian about this because Brian goes to a bunch of shops where there are lube techs, and maybe he can talk to some of these guys and ask them how they deal with that. I'm curious.
No, yeah, same here. It's something because, like you say, they're two precarious pieces of equipment under a vehicle, an oil filter and an oil plug. And I think the amount of abuse that they take on a regular basis unnecessarily, is just nuts.
And truthfully, one of the easiest and simplest things to do, one of the first things any of us learned to do on a car was probably an oil change.
Yeah.
And yet people are still doing it wrong. So like, where's the how did that happen? I don't know.
That is very true. Also, another frustrating thing that happened this week, I had the Mazda out, and I'm having an issue with those cheap coils that I purchased, those cheap ignition coils. So we're in the car, my wife and I, and you feel it. It's doing like you're not getting a smooth flow of power. It's giving you like that electronic miss.
Right.
And I'm saying to myself, because she's asking me, she's like, I feel that too when I'm driving the car. What is that? When it's those coils acting up. So I went and bucked up, went to Rock Auto, and I bought myself 6 standard American ignition coils for $200.
Wow. You know what? Let's see if we can sneak a real quick one in.
Go ahead.
Call, you're on the Motor Mouths.
Hey, it's Glenn. I know you're finishing up for the day.
What's up,
Hey,
Glenn?
What about pre-lubing that oil filter a little bit? That was, at times maybe I never did it. And now I get into the habit of checking that filter, make sure that the seal comes off. It's not stuck up in the
you're right
on the flange.
And Glenn, I know I've seen this. I've seen it on an oil filter box. And I'll look again and see if I can find it. They did used to write on there, take some fresh engine oil and just coat the seal to get
around the top. Yep.
Yeah.
We've all made the mistakes. You learn.
You know what I do? I'll tell you what. I don't always use fresh oil. I'll take the old filter that just came off, and I'll just put the new filter on top of it and kind of twist them together. There you go.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Now new filter meet old filter. And go ahead.
But interesting conversation about topic that's been around for forever, changing oil.
The other things that people over tighten, this is a whole subject, and I know Kenny's covered this. Brake hoses. When you put a brake hose on with a banjo bolt, people over tighten those all the time. That crush washer, once that crushes, it's sealed. That's it.
Crush once.
Yeah, you don't have to go gorilla with it.
Yeah.
Spark plugs, another one. Spark plugs. I mean, I'm the only guy that I know. And a lot of people told me this. You're the only guy I know who actually torques a spark plug. Well, yeah, there is a torque rating, and it's kind of important,
Yeah, I believe it. I had a set of plugs in a Mercury Montego one time that were so wrenched in there, we had to pull the hood off the car. And I remember standing up with a breaker bar trying to snap those plugs out. They were in so hard. Sure. So yeah, I get it. I totally understand, Glenn. Hey, Glenn, how about, like you say, you pull the oil filter off. How about just where the oil filter sits? How much dirt is collected on that thing? Yeah. Who cleans that? Nobody.
Go around and clean it. I've been trying to get all this maintenance done. I finally got rid of my oil down at the Merrick dump over there. They've been busy fixing that place. I pulled in, they're like, it's not available or whatever, or full today. And third try later, I was able to get rid of the waste oil. But you always got to look for that stuff and clean up. And whatever. But yeah, it's dirty work, but it's got to be done.
Yep, absolutely.
Done.
Yeah.
All right, let's carry on. Enjoy. Good
Thanks,
talking.
Glenn. All righty.
So long.
So long.
Take care, Glenn.
Always good to hear from Glenn.
Yeah, it's true. And I love when I do an oil change on my cars and I look under there and I see everything's nice and clean and all I have to do is just wipe it down. It makes the oil change go that much quicker. I mean, oh my gosh, it can knock out an oil change in like 20 minutes.
Right.
Because of,
paying
attention to
oil changes at home.
Service.
On the driveway when I was doing and I'll still do it occasionally at home. I'll instead of going to the shop. My goal is what I call the dripless oil change. I don't want to drop on the ground. And sometimes, I have a nice little bucket. It's actually an old Anko soap bucket. That's what I use. And invariably, something will happen where it'll be going, and it'll like a gust of wind will come. It just flows out this way, and like no more dripless oil change.
Yep. Oh,
it happens.
Sometimes I can have a dripless oil change and not really notice it. Like I'll just be doing it. It's just so efficient that next thing you know, you go, oh, wow, I didn't get a drop. And then sometimes I'm so aware of it, like, oh, I got to do a dripless and I get oil everywhere.
Get the dripless change done. And then he's like, great. Look at me. I'm the man. I did it. Woo-hoo. And then you kick the bucket and it falls all over the place. Now you got oil. It looks like The Shining, the elevator scene for The Shining. You got a flood.
It happens. Yeah, it totally happens.
All right. Well, we're getting ready to get out of here. We're going to be, we're done. We burned another hour. What do we tell the people that should be waiting for me outside in the parking lot this rainy day? I think.
Don't follow us home unless you have those oil plugs that look like suppositories. I think Ray likes those.
I will show those. And I tell you, I just looked out the window here. It's not raining here. So I guess where everybody else is, it sucks. But right here, it's Garden City is kind of nice. So that's nice. I'll get a nice dry ride home. And we don't have any guests lined up right now.
We're talking to ourselves.
Always working on something. Always trying to put people together. But we'll get something happening soon.
Well, whether we get someone coming in or we're talking to ourselves, it's fine with me.
Yeah. But
Always a good time.
We like to share it with the people and have let the guests share their informations.
Check us out on YouTube, for crying out loud.
Right, Motormouth Radio, Motormouth Video, and like is one thing, but drop a comment, make us feel good.
Yeah.
All righty. So for Chris Switzer, Ray Guarino, Motormouth Radio out. We'll see you next week again on 90.3 WHBC.
See you, bye.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside, who remind you that New York state law says you always have the right to choose which shop will fix your car. CarStar